The scale object is a very, very useful object. I use it in almost every single one of my patches. So essentially, if you have one range of numbers that you're wanting to translate or transform into another range of numbers, scale is the object that you want. So let's say we want to scale incoming numbers that are going from 0 to 10. We want to scale those from 0 to 100. Let's use an integer for input and output. I'll attach these like this. And a nice little shortcut for making everything align is to select everything, Control-Shift-A. Helps it look nice and neat. I'm going to push Control-E to lock the patch so that we can click and drag these numbers. So now you see, I can type it in as well. So I'm going to click on this. 0 will output 0. Click on it again. 10 will output 100. Okay, there might be a situation where you don't want the numbers to go beyond 0 and 100, what your output scaling range would be. Because if you notice, if we go up to 11, then we can go past this range. So there's another object called clip. And we can set that to be from 0 to 100. And then delete this patch cord. Attach it here. I'm just going to select everything again. Control-Shift-A to align it. And then you'll notice that as we go back over 10, nothing else comes out. It just clips at 100. Now you can also change these values dynamically. So let me show you what I mean. We'll pocket that over there. Say we want a scale object for the same scenario initially. Okay. I'm going to stretch this out so we can access these. Let's stretch it out a little bit more. You'll notice that these inputs here, that says the low input value. This is high input value, low output value, high output value. So if you click here, just like before, if we were to start typing it in, you can notice on these options here for your arguments, input low, input high, output low, output high. That's exactly what these were. Okay, so we can attach these. And then we'll have our input number here, our output. Okay, now say we want it to go from -10 to 0, and we want that to go from 0 to 100 again. Okay, so as this moves down, when we hit -10, we should come to 0. Perfect. And then when we hit 0, it should go to 100. Okay, we might do the same thing here with clip. So I'm going to Control-C, Control-V to copy it. And here's a nice little trick. I think it works with clip. It doesn't work with every object, but if you hold Shift while you're dragging an object, it'll usually, yep, it'll let you insert it onto a patch cord here. So now if I let go of my left mouse button, it inserted it on that patch cord. So something I'm going to do to kind of streamline this is rather than have to set this twice, I'm actually going to get rid of those so I don't get confused. And I'm going to pull these cords down. So now this is still set to nothing. No data has been sent through these cords. Remember, those aren't signal patch cords. So we have to send values, and now that just set to 1 and then to 0 again, and then we set this, what is it officially called? Let's see. The maximum, so minimum and maximum for the clipping. We set the minimum to 0, we set the maximum to 100. And now, as we go down, It will not go past 0, and it will not go past 100. So if you're going to dynamically alter those values like this, rather than just set them as parameters, as these static parameters, I'd recommend that you leave this area blank. And that is because, say I were to have these values here, 0, 10, 0, 100, well, this gets kind of confusing because this is actually, it's not set to -6. This is set to 0 because I haven't sent any information through this. So at first glance, I don't know which one it actually is initialized to if I've just opened up my patch, and it can get very confusing. So if you're going to do this method, I would recommend not putting any initial parameters there. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.